Steve, what's the alternative? I mean, you look at so many multinational companies, U.S. companies that do a lot of business there, but also have supply chains there, and Apple obviously comes top of mind. They've done things like when they report their sales, they report sales for Greater China, which includes Hong Kong and Taiwan, which is the way the Chinese like to have these things done. They've taken apps off of different situations, but these are companies that say they are operating under the laws of the nations that they are serving, and that they while they are trying to promote democracy and their way of thinking, freedom of speech, that they can't exactly do things that country considers to be illegal. Is the alternative that you can only operate in your own country?
No, the thing is, there are certain rules that you ought to be able as a company to abide by. In China, which is really, with the Uyghur situation, with the organ harvesting, the suppression of the Chinese people. Remember, the Chinese workforce is basically a slave labor workforce. That's what the people in the hawks on the right and President Trump's have even been saying, that the slave labor force is really making goods for the unemployed and underemployed in the industrial democracies. That's the tragedy of what this Frankenstein monster that the City of London, Wall Street, and the giant corporations have allowed to be built. You have to stand for something more than the bottom line. Remember, in the great period of American capitalism, our company stood for something more than just the bottom line. They stood for basic American values and basic values of the West. Look, I'm here in the home of democracy, right? A mile from the Parthenon. We were bequeathed this. And companies like Apple and these companies have to stand up. And this is not just some marginal thing. Yes, every country is going to have certain things that you have to abide by in their business code. But these are fundamental about human rights. Look at the streets of Hong Kong. We've talked about this, guys, now since June 9th. Look at that's the fight for capitalism. That's English common law and Chinese tenacity has built Hong Kong.